Okay. All right, we're at Wine 101 still. Doing Pinot Noir. And we're going to focus on a couple from California. We're going to look at the labels. Got a couple other bottles that we'll look at the labels on. There's two things you need to know. You need to know how to read a label, and you know how to focus in on the varietal or the grape that you like drinking. So here we go. Pinot Noir. We got two. We got one. It's Melville, 2016 Pinot Noir. Melville's from the Santa Rita Hills, just above Santa Barbara, a great wine producing area. Melville is a big winery. They probably have 500, maybe 1,000 cases of this. If you'll notice on the label, when you're reading, if it says estate on there, where it says estate Santa Rita Hills, estate means on their property. That means they own the vineyards, they're picking them, they're doing everything on their property. They're not buying grapes. Whereas the next bottle, you'll see there is no estate on here. It has the vineyard, Moresh Vineyard, in the Willamette Valley, Oregon. So this winemaker is purchasing grapes. He might be taking care of the vineyards, but he's purchasing grapes right now from somebody else's vineyard and then producing the wine. So he's the competitor here, and the name of the winery right here is Carson Phillips, 2017 Pinot Noir. So it's 1 year younger. It's from the Moresh Vineyard, Willamette Valley in Oregon, a huge wine producing area in Oregon. And basically in Oregon, they're known for Pinots and Chards. Pinots and Chards tend to grow in the same area. They like the same climate. And so you'll find where you find Pinots, you're usually going to find Chards also. Now the other place you're going to find Pinots is France. Okay, that's where they started. And then you'll find some in Oregon, of course, California, maybe a little bit in New Zealand, South America, South Africa. They're not grown widely all over. It's a kind of a finicky grape. It takes a little cooler climate. That's why in California, you're not going to see them in Napa Valley. You're going to see them in Sonoma Valley, which is towards the coast, because they need that cool air. If you look on the map here for the climate, let me show you California, Napa Valley, Sonoma is right there. And if you take this across, you're going to see where it ends up. It ends up at the southern end of France. If you move it up to Oregon, you're going to see France. You're going to see Burgundy. So Oregon and Burgundy are basically on the same line longitudinally. And that's why Pinots go great in both areas. Now, if you ever heard Burgundy, okay, in the old days, they used to give red wine, any kind of wine, put it in a jug and call it a Burgundy. That was just a red wine. Nobody knew what the grape was. But Burgundy is a region in France, and it only grows two grapes, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So when somebody says they have a red Burgundy, that means they have a Pinot Noir. Here's a couple labels we can focus on. Burgundy label, very hard to read, just like any European label. It's not going to be like California. I'll show you the difference. Of course, you got the year, that's good. They focus on the region or the vineyard that they're grown in. They don't focus on the winery, the guy's name. They don't focus on that. It's on here, but you know when you get good wines in Europe, it's because you're getting it from a good appellation or vineyard. And here's the appellation, Chambertin. Okay, Grand Cru. That's the highest level wine rated in Europe, is a Grand Cru. So it's from the Chambertin area, Grand Cru. Here's the guy. I can't even say it, Malmay. That's the winemaker or the winery. And of course your alcohol 13.5 and so on and so forth. So you got to focus in Europe differently than California. All right, let's look at this baby. What's on this one? Nothing. Picture of a tractor. Okay, well, we're going to turn it around, okay? That's just the way they like to do it, which is fun. This is Big Table Farms. This is an Oregon Pinot, and it's got everything on the back instead of the front. So they're just being a little bit cute. So they got Pinot Noir, they have the type of grape, they have the area, the vineyard it came from, Central Brothers Vineyard, and they got the area that it's grown in, Eola Amity Hills, Oregon, which is a good wine producing area. So it's all on here, it's just on the back. All right. Okay. So we're going to do first Melville Pinot Noir. A little swirly swirl. Nothing's coming out of this baby. If you'll notice the glasses we're using, these are Pinot glasses, which are bigger bowls at the bottom, and they go narrower at the top. Because on Pinots, it's all about the aroma. It's all about the nose. And they're very floral. They're not big fruit bombs. They're more elegant wines. Pinots are medium-bodied red wines, unlike Cabernet or Syrah, which are full-body wines. Pinots are elegant. Tastes totally different. Melville. And they also have a little bit of a, they call it a barnyard. It's almost like a little stinky stink. And that's characteristic of Pinot Noirs, especially from France. Most people drink a Pinot from France right off the bat, and it's a no-go. You got to work up to it. Woo. Nice. It's got pretty good acidity for a Pinot. Pinots are usually softer. This one's, and I can tell you this is going to last a while. You can tell when you drink them. If they're kind of soft and not a lot of body or flavor, that means they're on their way down. This baby's going to go a while. So you got easily 10 more years on this one. I mean, it's already, what, 4 years old? 4.5 years old? Classic Pinot. It's hard to put a fruit to this. You almost want to say it tastes like rose petals or something like that. Okay, let me flush that a little. We're going to go do now Carson Phillips. Carson Phillips. This is his first release ever. The Phillips family from Redlands used to own a Citron restaurant in Redlands. I think Michael owned it for maybe 20 years. His two sons, and they all moved. They sold the restaurant, moved to Oregon, and now they're making wine. So this is Carson, is his son, first vintage, 2017 Pinot Noir. And we're going to give it a whirl. Very hard to come out of the gate with any kind of award-winning wine if it's your first production. Well, let's see. You can see on the color on these Pinots, they're a lot lighter. Where Cabernet, Syrahs and such, Malbec, they're dark, they're purple. These are all, I don't know, brickish, reddish, light color. You can see through them, or you can on a Cabernet. Sniffy sniff. Okay, the aroma, less fruit on the nose here than the Melville, but a little more on the back end. Barnyard on the back end. That doesn't sound good, does it? No. I'm not talking about an animal or anything. Here we go. Now you'll notice, I guess you might have noticed on that I spit, because I'm going to be drinking a few wines after this, and I don't want to get, a little tipsy. Because as long as you get it coating your palate fully, you're going to get all you need out of the wine. Once you swallow it, Katie bar the door, it doesn't really matter. And if I get a little tipsy, I'll be chasing my wife around the table. She doesn't want that. That was a good flavor profile on Carson Phillips. Almost perfumey on the flavor. A little acidity. Very elegant. Both wines are very elegant. It looks to me, if you look at them, looks like Carson Phillips is a little bit lighter on the color. I think the Melville grapes are maybe a little bit riper. Remember, as you move north, the climate gets cooler. The grapes don't get as ripe or as much alcohol in them. Let's see, the alcohol content on Carson is 12.6. That's pretty low. And Melville's 14%, which is about average for a Pinot. So we know where the 14% alcohol is going to go. It's going to go to the wife. For a first production, my hat's off to Carson Phillips. This is a 90-point Pinot in my estimation, maybe 89, 90 points. I mean, in the future, 2 or 3 years, who knows what the guy's going to do. That's fantastic. Melville. Tad more fruit on it. Soft, good, pretty close. So we're giving the Carson Phillips a 90 point. We're giving the Melville a 91. Up and coming though, baby. Carson Phillips. Okay, that's Pinot Noir Wine 101. We're done.